Everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast here by Age Weather Forecast. As you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be looking at another weather outbreak likely for today. We have a very high risk for possibly seeing really large tornadoes, and we can also be seeing some really large hail and damaging winds across parts of the South Central today. We do have a level 3 enhanced risk, so we do actually have a very good possibility for some strong tornadoes, and definitely be seeing some really deadly thunderstorms and extreme powerful supercells in some of these areas. So be sure to stay tuned throughout the whole video so you guys have the new information on the timing of these systems, the worst of these systems, where the location is, and also what impacts could we see with these strong storms, or what things will we see. We'll be seeing tornadoes, large hail, and all of that. So be sure to stay tuned throughout the whole video so you guys get all that information. Also, be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. We are 2 subscribers away from 2,330 subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button there, and also be sure to share the video and channel to anybody that you know will be in this dangerous potential severe weather event today, so that they have all the information, so they are weather aware. But without further ado, let's get in this video. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the National Weather Service here, so we can see any alerts that we have for the severe weather today. And we have severe thunderstorm watches for parts of eastern Oklahoma, just not far from the border of Arkansas. So this is where we have Muskogee, McAllister, and all these other areas where we have severe thunderstorm watches there. Because then we've seen these very strong bands, and we'll start to see these severe thunderstorm watches come into play for Arkansas very soon, maybe even parts of Missouri, and more into Texas later by today. So as you see there, we have the enhanced risk for parts of Oklahoma there, and it looks like the timing will be around 8:30 to 10 a.m. So we are getting this time frame where the severe weather is going to be arriving. So definitely going to be seeing quite the strong band. If we look at the radar, here you see these very powerful bands in these areas. Like definitely be possibly some supercells across these areas right here. Could definitely have some potential supercells that's going to be heading towards McAllister and Muskogee, heading towards Tulsa. But when it gets to Barnesfield and Tulsa, it won't be as bad. But as it's moving to McAllister, Hugo, you guys are definitely going to get hit quite with some really damaging winds, potentially for some really large hail, and maybe even a tornado or two. So this is going to be moving to the I-40, and it's going to head toward the northward, so Tulsa, Muskogee, out in McAllister. You guys are going to get hit quite hard today. And then severe weather, of course, we have Hugo and all these other areas and the enhanced risk. So that's what we have right now, and we even have flash flood warnings and flood warnings for parts of Missouri already due to the extremely heavy rain we'll be seeing here. Let's go ahead and check out the rainfall totals. Could possibly be seeing quite the heavy rain, so definitely have a potential hazard for damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. Of course, severe weather timings for Friday into Friday evening, which is today, of course, and then we'll see these storms throughout parts of southwestern Missouri into southeastern Kansas, and then, of course, be sure to stay weather aware. So, as you see, that flooding threat is quite high. Could definitely be seeing up to 2 to 3 inches for portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, and then when we have these flash flood warnings, we can be seeing another 2 inches expected in these areas. So definitely going to be seeing extremely heavy rain with the system as well. Could also be seeing flooding. We've had a lot of flooding issues in the past coming days for parts of Michigan, for parts of Virginia, parts of Kentucky, and now we can possibly see these areas that could be seeing flash flooding issues here, and possibly some really dangerous and deadly flooding in these areas as well, all depending on exactly how much rain we do see. As you know, look at the SPC Outlook, here we have our enhanced risk right here for parts of far southeastern Oklahoma, for the far border of Arkansas, so like the far western tip of Arkansas, and then enhanced risk, but not necessarily really. And then also much of northern Texas. We actually have some big cities like Fort Worth, Gainesville, Dallas. All these other areas in northern Texas do have that pretty high population area, but that's where we have the enhanced risk. As you see, though, in general, we do have quite a very widespread threat for severe weather across areas into the kind of the Ozarks and in the South Central, and then we also have these areas in the Southeast as well, which I'm included in for severe weather. But as you see, we do have quite a decent risk as well for the slight risk. Could definitely be seeing quite the big severe weather threat out here in the slight risk. We do have quite a big possibility for some tornadoes, damaging hail, and also very large or very powerful winds. As you see, we only have a level 3 as our highest risk. So level 2 is not too far from getting close to almost as worse as the enhanced risk there. So we also have areas like Little Rock, Joplin, areas like Miami, McAllister, all these other areas in the slight risk here. And then we also have this enhanced risk. So this is, we're going to be seeing the worst of the severe weather today based on the SPC Outlook, and just based on the tornado probability, the general severe weather probability here. So here we're going to be seeing quite the big severe weather threat for parts of Dallas, Fort Worth, southeastern Oklahoma there. As we look at the tornado threat, we do have a very high risk, a very decent risk at a 5% chance. They did just have a 10% chance, but I guess they just updated it right now. So they actually just downgraded it right now to a 5% chance, actually. It was just at a 10% chance when the last time I checked, right before making the video. So I guess they have put this at a 5% chance now, which I'm a little shocked. But I guess we do have a smaller threat for smaller threat for tornadoes, but also a 5% chance is still a decent probability here. You can't let the possibility for tornadoes and a 5% chance. Of course, we've had multiple tornado reports and quite some strong tornadoes as well in the past in areas that are only in a 2% chance, and if not less than a 2% chance. So can't rule out the possibility. The hail threat's also very high with a 30% chance, significant risk here. So really high hail probability that's going to be for parts of that 30% chance where we have the enhanced risk, but we also have that significant risk for parts of Arkansas, all the way to Texas there, and Oklahoma. So very, very widespread hail threat. As you see, we have a 15% chance all the way to Texas, to parts of Missouri, and portions of Kansas in that yellow color. And then of course the wind threat's going to be a decent risk as well, a 15% chance. That's not extremely high for wind, but we do have a decent probability for some severe weather related winds for portions of Texas, of course Arkansas, Missouri, and even Kansas. So that's exactly what we're looking at for that hail or that strong winds. As we now look at the radar and the AM3KM model here, these are going to really be some very powerful bands. So we saw a couple hours ago. As we now move into what we're seeing right now, these bands are now moving to the Oklahoma area. So of course, going to start arriving into portions of Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma very soon. Could be seeing some very widespread severe weather for parts of Kansas City, Joplin, heading into parts of Jefferson City, moving into portions of areas like and portions of northwestern Arkansas there. And look, very strong severe weather can be heading towards a Hugo area and Oklahoma. Quite the strong supercells are likely in these areas because definitely see some very strong bands likely producing tornadoes. And this will start moving by the overnight hours here, or the evening hours. We'll start seeing, the afternoon hours, we'll start seeing this entering the parts of Texas here. That can bring some really strong severe weather for portions, of course, of Dallas, also Fort Worth, Gainesville, getting even portions of Louisiana as well. Could definitely see quite a big severe weather threat. And as we get into tomorrow morning, we're still going to be seeing this really major band all the way up that we're seeing now, still producing some potential for tornadoes, large hail for parts of central Texas there. And then it will kind of fall apart there with a high pressure system kind of takes over, and then it seems like it will cap out and fall apart. As we now look at the Cape values here, very high Cape values are ready for likely for today. Seems like we'll definitely have some decent numbers. So definitely going to be seeing the ingredients set in place. Going to be seeing the instability. Could be seeing some warmer temperatures in these areas. So could have that overday heating as these bands can produce. We also have all this humidity, moisture, and all of this kind of set in place here. And we just already have some high numbers for parts of Texas and Oklahoma. So we are going to be seeing this high energy coming in place later today, which is going to be exactly what we have these storms producing for a very long time. Because we have all the energy across these areas. If we're portions of Oklahoma, we have almost 5,000 joules per kilogram here. So as you see, we do have a possibility for some tornadoes and significant hails likely. Can't doubt the possibility for maybe 2 to 4 inch size hail here. And definitely be seeing some portions of areas like here, southern Oklahoma can get very close to this 5,000 mark here. Very likely for some supercells here. We do have a 75% chance there. And then as you see, we do have a bit of a smaller, we have a 6.8 for supercell composite parameter, but the tornado threat is at a 1.1, so a bit smaller. But we do, of course, have that hazard for tornadoes there. And these areas going to be seeing quite the high numbers for portions of Texas as well. Some 4,000 here. Could be seeing smaller numbers for possibilities for southern Texas, but when it comes to northern Texas today, could definitely be seeing some great probability. And then look at this. As we get later into the overnight hours when these bands produce a lot more, look at this. Gonna get now to 5,000 200 joules per kilogram here, almost 5,300 joules per kilogram. We're going to be definitely be seeing a 13.1 on the supercell composite parameter. Also going to be seeing a probability for tornadoes. And likely we are going to be seeing very weak cap in these areas as well, but very high numbers for parts of Texas. The amount of energy is crazy. Going to possibly see in the areas near eastern Texas, 5,000 joules per kilogram. And as you see, we do have a 6.2 on supercell composite parameter, a severe weather threat. It's going to be really, really high numbers at Cape Valley, and then it kind of will fall apart there. See around 3,000 joules per kilogram. We will be seeing, of course, some strong caps still. That's exactly why we will be seeing the severe weather lasting a bit longer for portions of these areas as it does fall apart. But still, we'll be seeing the energy set in place even after they do kind of fall apart there. So definitely have that probability where we have that severe weather coming in the day after. And as we now look into portions of the south central for the, as we look into the supercell composite parameter, could possibly have now very high numbers up to 20 on the superset composite parameter at 23.2 to be exact, and the STP is at 4.2, which is actually a very decent chance for tornadoes. Of course, you can't say the probability of a tornado necessarily with a 100% probability, but we do have a decent chance for tornadoes in these areas, of course, and also very weak cap, -55, so very good probability for some supercells throughout the areas. So definitely be seeing that coming in. I actually, guys, do apologize for leaving that on for a second. I was actually checking the text message, and I forgot to put it on pause. So I do apologize if you guys had that awkward silence there. I really do apologize there. I really thought I put the pause button, and I realized I didn't. So I really do apologize for that awkward silence there. So yeah, here we do have, of course, these these decent numbers for supercells. So of course, really decent numbers here, not gonna lie, decent numbers here for supercells, and then it kind of just fall apart later on, and then it kind of skyrockets a bit more for portions of northern Texas. We have actually a 23 here. Look at even the supercell composite parameter at 35, and we do have a STP at 3.5, and look, -79 on cap, so still very weak cap there, and then it kind of just fell apart into tomorrow morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the video though. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and bye guys.